sell cars, people do or whatever, you know. Well, price, you might feel like price doesn't sell cars, but I'll show you how it drives leads, which again, leads drive into sales activity. So I want to go over some metrics with you on used car operations. This applies to new too. But really what it's in my eyes and what it's really important is every inventory manager should be manage their inventory based off of activity and leads. Okay, meaning activity like is it converting online and so forth. Because if I can see it converting online but no leads, could be a photo, equipment, miles, whatever issue. Then you also want to be managing lead inventory based on leads. If does it have 8 leads, 5 leads, no leads, and you should be able to figure that out. And what I'm telling you, the math is, and I'll tell you this is half your inventory doesn't have leads. Okay, that's the stat. Now, we'll run anywhere. I've seen dealers as low as like 30, 35% not having leads. But I've seen dealers with 60, 70% of their inventory not having leads. So you can figure out which ones are good, bad, and versus bad operators with those numbers. But on average, about 50% of your inventory is not going to have any leads. And how do you know or find that, right? And so there are some inventory tools that have some lead data. But again, is it trended out? Is it going better or worse? You can look at a car, see if it's got leads. But what I'm talking about is your inventory as a whole. Where's our pricing? Is our pricing going up? Is that led to lead count going down and things like that? And then you should be able to isolate, again, figuring out which cars have no leads at all and be able to attack those. Because that's our job as dealerships back in the day prior to internet, and even to today, most dealerships are going to want their dealership on prime real estate, meaning like the main thoroughfare in town. They want to be on the main strip where cars are coming by and driving by and seeing it, or along with a bunch of other dealers. So we get natural car traffic there. And so that's how it's always been. But nowadays with the internet, your job as a used car manager is to get your cars in front of as many eyeballs as possible and drive those lead activity and the conversion percentages. So what I'm going to go over is, again, just kind of reflection of, if you're one of those people believe price doesn't sell cars, but I can tell you this, it drives activity. And those activity from there is going to be up to you. And what I mean by that, if somebody's clicking on a car, and they're getting turned off by it, or it's not having the equipment or things they thought for that kind of price, that's on you, right? Or the photos are bad, or they're looking, it's got a bench seat, right? Well, I'll shoot for that kind of price and a bench seat. No, or I didn't want it. So they're not submitting leads at that point in time. So the job is get in front of that search. That's why I love flat pricing, like pricing at 20 grand flat instead of 19,999. You have a debate all day long. Again, the sites kind of categorize and sort your inventory different ways. But I will tell you this, autotradercars.com, car reviews, Carfax, whatever. Customer does a search 20 to 25 grand, which a lot of people will do because they're on the budget. Your 19,990 car will not show up for that. So you miss those eyeballs. But let's talk about lead activity and pricing. I'm going to share my screen. So if you're listening to this on podcast, you might want to go to YouTube or my Facebook to check this out. But let me start at the top of this. This dealer right here is a live dealer. He's got 103 in inventory. He sold 59 in 2 weeks. So that kind of puts him on pace to sell about 120 or 118 with 103 in stock. So he is on pace. He's below his goal by about 3% or 3 units. He's off pace to his goal to sell 60% in 2 weeks. But he's well above 100% sale rate. Okay. Inventory is looking good. 80%, 86% fresh, only 3 cars over 60, and 71% of his sales are going out the first 30 days. But here's what I wanted to talk to you about: lead activity. Now, what we're doing here, well, each one of these age buckets, I'm looking at how much leads are on those cars. And just look at these two. These 12 cars right here only hold 10% of their active leads. Over the last 60 days, only 10% of his active leads are on these 12 cars, but yet 32% of his active leads are on these 9. Okay. Now, there could be 1 or 2 cars in there. And here's the thing. If it's increasing or decreasing, trend it out. Is it going up? Look at that. So there's only 9 cars, 31 to 45, but 32% of my leads are sitting on those cars. And by the way, 2 of these cars, 2 of the 9 don't have any leads at all. So really 32% of his active leads are on 7 cars in that bucket. So that's one aspect that you want to take a look at. We can go look at these 32 or again, look at these 9. And with those 9, you can see lead count. Okay. And so there might be a car and there's one with 9, 3, 5 total active leads. So but let's go dig in a little bit further. And what I want to go back to is, does price, sell cars? Let's just look. Now, the blue line here indicates leads per car. Okay. Back here, they were at 2.1 leads per car, and it went up to 3.06 leads per car, second from the bottom. Well, what changed? Well, if you go back here, third from the bottom, their average price was 95%. Okay. And now they're at 94%. It's crazy how 1 or 2% can throw off this activity. Same with percentage of inventory without leads. 54% of his inventory didn't have leads when he was at 95%. And then when he was at 94, it went down to 42%. So 12% less cars, or 12% more cars had leads. So again, if he's had 100 cars on his lot, 12 more got leads. So that's a good thing, right? And so again, just think about your current situation, logging into your inventory management tool, whichever one it is. How easy is it for you to find this information and know, is it looking better or worse? Yeah, you might be able to pull up a car and look at a lead on that car, but watch what happens here. So 94%, because if you notice, the blue line's going down. So he's having less leads per car, and the amount of cars with no leads is going up. So a couple things could be that. It could be a photo percentage and things like that. But again, watch what happened to price to market. He went from 94% to 95, 96%. So now we're talking 68%. He went from having 42% not having leads to now 68% of his inventory not having any leads at all. Okay, that goes into, he's got a little spike of fresh inventory right here. So, of course, they haven't had a chance to have leads yet. But this is gradually changing the fact that as this pricing goes up 1%, the activity goes down. Okay, and we're getting less and less activity on these cars. And so why did that happen? Why did our price to market go up? Two things could have been happening. The market's moving faster than you. They didn't raise their price, but a car that was priced at 93% yesterday is now at 94, or 100% yesterday is now 101. And why would that happen? And or the second thing would be, maybe if we got a bunch of fresh cars and they're not photoed yet or in and out of service yet, then maybe I haven't dropped the price yet. So again, the market's moved faster than me because I'm waiting for it to come out of service. So again, that's where you want to track photo percentage. Like back here, 71, 68, 65% of his cars were fully photoed, ready for sale. And now he's in the 50s. But even right here, he was at 60+%. So the fact that he gone from a 71, 67, 65, now it's down into these 50s. So again, right there, that just is a good indicator that my turnaround time is slowing down my price adjustments, which then is slowing down my lead activity. Okay. You should know that. The other thing is, one of the aspects that I wanted to talk about too is being able to, click a button. Let's go look at cars with no leads, and or in our book, no leads, no switches. Because I can have a car with no leads, maybe a $30,000 Explorer, but I might have 10 people in my database, they're active leads on a sold SUV around 30 grand. So even though I have no leads on this Explorer, and I'll show you that here in a minute, I might have 10 people I can talk to switch on this car. But these are 22 out of his 103 cars. So that's a good percent. 22% have no active leads and nobody in their database looking for that type of vehicle, a luxury SUV around $50,000, and it's 14 days old. So these 22 cars are kind of a red flag. Now, a lot of these are just 1-2 days old, but some of these are 2 weeks old, 9 days old, 6 days old. And it's irregardless of how old that car is if I have switch opportunities. But these 22 cars, or at least 5-6 of them, should be on your radar to go, okay, be concerned, especially out the gate. What do I got to do to get that 14-day-old car some eyeballs? Is it a price adjustment? Now, again, from there, I'm going to make pricing decisions based on kind of how I sell inventory. But forget that. Let's keep on the lead count. Because, again, 22 out of the 103 have no leads, no purchases. But remember, and that's only about 20% of their leads. But remember, I told you 60-something% of their cars have no leads at all. So, again, be able just to isolate your inventory, no leads, oldest unit to youngest unit. Look at this, 92, 40, 34-day-old car, no active leads. Okay, no active leads on this 34-day-old Laramie. Okay, again, think of your current situation and how do you isolate this as a used car manager? Because if we're not getting the drive-by traffic on Main Street like we used to, or people hopping from dealership to dealership like we used to, 3-4 dealerships before they bought, they're going to be going online. If these cars aren't converting and you're not getting leads, these should be front and center. So they have 70 cars out of 103 that don't have any leads. But with this Ram, what I was talking about, it's a $39,000 Ram, no leads, but I have 3 switches. And what that means is these people right here, this customer on this 22 Silverado is $43,000. It's sold. It's an 8-day-old lead. Okay, did they need a Silverado? They opened other large pickup trucks around that 40 grand. So I have these customers that I might be able to talk to and switch. Now that's just at this store. Now, if you're on a group level, if you have multiple stores and you're willing to swap customers and or cars, and within my group, look at this. I've got at their other store, they've got a Ram 1500 at the other store that I might be able to grab and bring to this, because this customer was on a $42,000 2021 Laramie, and this one was on a Bighorn 2022 Bighorn at 42 grand. Will they go to a Laramie here at 39 grand, right? A year newer, maybe more or less miles. But you get my point. This customer here on this Laramie at 42 grand with 32,000, would they switch to this Laramie with 33,000 miles? So when it comes to, and what I'm going to do is stop sharing my screen. When it comes to inventory management, it really needs to reflect lead management. Okay. You need to be able to make sure not only are your leads being followed up with, and here, let's just hit on that for a little bit. I'm going to share my screen again because that's the other aspect. Okay. Let's just clear this out and actually go here, 3 leads on this car, right? And so I've got 3 leads, and here's an 18-day-old lead, have been called in 2 days. Here's a 50-day-old lead, has been contacted in 40 days, right? So inventory management needs to be lead management. I'm not dropping my price or doing anything on it. I got to make sure my customers are being meted and greeted. And then on the flip side, when you have leads, okay, regardless, like here's a 50-day-old lead, haven't been contacted in 40 days, right? I want to look at my if I got an active lead on a car still in stock, it's 34 days old lead, this car's still in stock, I want to increase my contact ratio on any active lead where the car's still in stock. And so what I was showing you before was when I come into here, I can see this car has 3 leads. And those 3 leads, I can see it's an 18-day-old lead, hasn't been called in 2 days or contacted or attempted contact. Here's a 50-day-old lead, have been contacted in 40 days, right? Don't drop your price. Make sure your leads are followed up with. That's as an inventory manager. But also as an inventory manager, go check out your leads. Figure out, okay, this 14-day-old lead, this 34-day-old lead, we've contacted a day ago, but when I click on it, again, what's our cadence? Look, 13th, they called on the 16th, 17th, 18th, 20th, 21st, 23rd, 24th, 25th. I don't care how old the lead is. If it's an active lead on a car still in stock, we want to re-engage because look, when this lead first came in, it came in when it was priced at $50,000. Okay. Now we're at 46 grand. That's a $4,000 swing on the price. You don't think that's important information to refer to that customer? Hey, I know you've been shopping for a little bit. You've been in our system, just to let you know, ever since, this price has gotten really aggressive. We've got multiple leads. It's actually priced about $4,000 cheaper, right? So lead management needs to be based on inventory issues too. Active in-stock lead, or again, if I've got a problem with my 2025 sitting on my lot, why don't I call and email any active lead on 2025s, right? That's a bad example because not too many late model cars, but you get my point. You got $55,000 to $60,000 vehicles sitting on your lot. Well, if I have any leads, I don't care if it's a 50-day-old lead or a 7-day-old lead, let's call and email them and let them know what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing again. So inventory management needs to be lead management. As an inventory manager, you need to know what percentage of my inventory has leads, which ones don't, which ones do I need to make sure I got eyeballs on, have active lead, have no leads and nobody in my database to switch them to. I need to know that. And then I'm making price decisions off that. And then as an lead manager and I'm managing leads, full low hanging fruit. I want any lead where the car's still in stock, highest probability to get an appointment, get somebody in the door. But also, if we have a truck issue, let's notify the customer, hey, we got you're on this F-150 and we're doing a big sale with our trucks this week and just trying to get them moving. I noticed that, when you submitted your lead, it was a grand more and we've reduced the price since then. Put a sense of urgency behind it, because again, that's an issue on my lot and I want to make sure I'm working leads based on that, not just age of lead. So prices don't sell cars. If you're one of those, I'm just showed you how 1 or 2% swing in your price to market is going to reflect a slowdown in lead activity, which then reflects a slowdown in sales. Now, again, an increase in pricing could be we got behind in photos, we haven't adjusted pricing, the market's moving faster than we are. And so there's just a combination of all these little things that slow you down. No matter how good you're doing, you saw this dealer selling 20 units or whatever it was with 103 in stock. So no matter how good they are, there's still holes that we can catch that keep that momentum. So we don't go through these cycles of cleaning up inventory, having an age issue, cleaning up inventory, having an age issue. And again, that's due to taking a breather. Okay, that was bad. We cleaned it up, took a little hit. Let's get back to selling cars and making money. And then we hold out on our pricing to try to make up our gross. And next thing you know, in 60 days, we're back to an aging problem again. So if you need help staying on top of that, that's what we do. We're a luxury item in the fact that we are a combination of your lead management tool, CRM, and a combination of your inventory management tool. We take those two data points, put them together, and help you be more effective managing your lot as a whole, Lotpop, essentially, and do a lot walk. So hit lotwalk.com up if you'd like to talk more. And basically, we're guaranteeing dealers, if we don't increase your volume at least 25% in the first 90 days, the next 90 days free. So take advantage of that offer. Hope we have a great 4th of July. Sorry for the long video, but I think it was important for you to kind of wrap your head around that and have a strong 4th of July. I hope June was a good month for you.